Bowling Green, Kentucky, home of one of the hottest teams in Conference USA and one of the perennial powers. We are at EA Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and it's time for some Conference USA basketball on Facebook Live. Our matchup here tonight in the Conference USA, two 20-win teams from a year ago. It's the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech taking on the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Hi everyone, Alex Dobario alongside Tim Doyle, CBS College Basketball Insider John Rothstein in just a moment. And Tim, a very unique broadcasting experience for us here on Facebook Watch, and it's cool to be interactive with just about everyone who wants to watch this Conference USA game tonight.
Oh, no doubt about it. If you're a fan of either one of these schools, please chime in this game. Your comment could be read over the air. Conference USA this year, we're going to dive into some of the storylines. It's a deep conference, and I think both these teams are going to be competing for a Conference USA championship.
So now you have all the opportunities to join the conversation in the comments, use the hashtag, and if you want to use quiet mode so you don't see the comments, if you're watching on your mobile device, make sure you swipe out of there. But when Conference USA gets started, you always got to look at teams like Western Kentucky, a 20-win team pretty much every single year, but they're a team that struggled to make the NCAA tournament over the last couple of years, but they have their sights set on this year, and reason for it is they got the big fella, Tim.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're talking about Charles Bassey. If you have not seen him play, get locked and loaded because we're looking at a pro. And this year, well, he has been dominant. Check out the numbers. Leading Conference USA in rebounding. He is a dunking machine. Nobody in college basketball has dunked the ball more. He's got exceptional timing on the defensive end. I think he's going to be up for Conference Player of the Year. You take a look at my Conference Player of the Year candidates. Sorry if your guy is not up there right now, but Tavion Hollingsworth, it might be more of a career award for him. He's been outstanding. Tavion Kinsey can actually jump in the basket. He's one of the most athletic players in all of college hoops. Jarrett West is a triple-double every time he steps on the floor. And Jameer Young, the sophomore, if you haven't watched him play, just ask Western Kentucky fans. Charlotte knocked off Western Kentucky last out, but I believe the Hilltoppers are the most talented team in the league, but we all know have had a tough time getting over the hump, Alex.
Well, you got Doyle's thoughts on the Conference USA potential player of the year. Let's bring in the third member of our crew, CBS College Basketball Insider John Rothstein. And John, you look at this conference, you look at teams like Western Kentucky, you look at teams like Louisiana Tech, both 28-win teams a year ago. But what are some of the other thoughts on potential player of the year around? Because I think this conference is as deep as it's been in a while.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, Alex, and I think obviously Tim highlighted some great players up there. You know, it begins and ends with Charles Bassey. This is a player that coming into college was recruited by Bill Self in Kansas, was recruited by Auburn and Bruce Pearl. He has a chance to be an All-American out of Conference USA, and make no mistake about it, he has been the reason why Western Kentucky was able to go to Alabama and win, to beat Northern Iowa when Northern Iowa still had A.J. Green, and also to have a win the caliber that it did over Memphis when it played in South Dakota. The name that I would put on that list that wasn't on it is Bryson Williams from UTEP. This is the interior player that annihilated Arizona State when UTEP got that victory last month. UTEP was also competitive in a game earlier this season at Arizona. We'll get into the minors later, but right now it's about one thing. Rick Stansbury and another attempt at inching closer to something he hasn't done at Western Kentucky, reaching the NCAA tournament.
So here's a look at the starting lineups. Hollingsworth and Bassey we've talked about. But on the Louisiana Tech side, guys, Kenneth Lofton, he's joined the starting lineup about 7 games ago, and he's been a nice impact player for La Tech as a freshman.
No, he has already been 3-time Conference USA Freshman of the Week, and he is a big fella, 6'7", 275 pounds, and he is a load for Louisiana Tech.
Eric Conkle, the head coach of Louisiana Tech, now in his 6th season, 113 victories since coming over. Louisiana Tech is a disciple of Jim Larinaga, coached there at George Mason in Miami. After for Rick Stansbury, 5th season at Western Kentucky, 90 wins in Bowling Green, 19th overall, of course, former coach over at Mississippi State. And he talked about the differences with us guys on the challenges at a Power 5 school that struggled to make the NCAA tournament, and now in a Conference USA where you don't win the conference championship game, it's hard to get in. Tip controlled by Western Kentucky. We are underway here in Bowling Green. La Tech in the blue, Western Kentucky in the whites. Here in the early going. Tim, what do you want to see in the early moments here from the Hilltoppers?
Well, what Western Kentucky is so good at is driving and getting points in the paint. When they're going towards the basket, that's when they're at their best. When we talked to Eric Conkle, he talked so much about getting back on defense. And then on this end of the floor, just getting a shot up. No empty possessions, getting a shot on the rim, even give you a chance, an opportunity to get an offensive rebound. Shooting edge here to Louisiana Tech. One thing the Hilltoppers do not do well, shoot the three from the perimeter. Advantage Louisiana Tech there.
This is Lofton Jr. we talked about, takes the baseline jumper and misses there. The Hilltoppers will bring it back to the other end. This is Josh Anderson looking down low into Bassey, and that's what we're going to see just about every time down the floor. They're going to look to get it to Bassey. If not, he's going to set a screen for somebody. Here's Bassey to the rim, and he is fouled on the drive.
It's nice when your 6'11" center can step out and put the ball on the floor.
So this is Bassey, 6'11" center from Lagos, Nigeria. Came into the game with 32 blocks on the season. That's more than 227 Division I schools this year. As the guys talked about, gets after on both ends of the floor. And Bassey connects. 2-0 lead for the Hilltoppers here early on. Underneath and get the layup. Nice feed there from Jakobi Williams. Jakobi Williams, one of the top assist men in Conference USA at just under 3 assists per game. This is Josh Anderson. Try to get it down low into Bassey, and a good takeaway there from Kenneth Lofton. Again, the freshman from Port Arthur, Texas, just outside of Houston. La Tech works it out to the wing. Three-point attempt is good. Hitting from downtown there, Jakobi Pemberton, the redshirt senior from Dallas. 44% shooting from downtown this season. We get a foul away from the basket. La Tech with the early advantage with 17:42 to play.
Louisiana Tech, if they're going to win this game, Alex, can you hear me? I'm going to say it again. If they're going to win this game, Alex, they're going to have to make 10+ threes in this spot.
3-point lead for La Tech. Western Kentucky with a basketball. This is Anderson with a pull up from inside the circle. Too strong. Bassey, though, with a rebound. And that's one of the things Eric Conkle talked about, too, as well, Tim, just to make sure that they get those rebounds. But having Bassey on the other end against them, it's going to be tough. Top of the...
You know, one of the things, Alex, that Western Kentucky has to do is get Carson Williams some touches. You know, Rick Stansbury has told me this season that he is their X factor. Got to get him some touches down low because Bassey is obviously going to create his own opportunities.
Bassey had the ball there, got fouled, and he'll go to the line one more time. And that's one of the things that this Western Kentucky team does better than just about any team in the country, John, is get to the free throw line.
Yeah, and this is what second opportunities do for you. And it's such a rarity, Alex, because in a lot of ways we're going back in time, not just with Charles Bassey, but look at the 7-footers we have in college basketball this season. Hunter Dickinson at Michigan, Kofi Coburn at Illinois, Luka Garza at Illinois. It feels like we're back in 1997.
There's Bassey quickly off the inbounds pass. They decided the last one on the floor comes up empty, and here comes La Tech on the run. This is Archibald trying to go up with it, and he's denied underneath. Good steal there from Davian McKnight, the freshman from Shelbyville, Kentucky. Hilltoppers with another possession here, trailing by 3.
Kenny Cooper's got to set things right now. This is what he did, obviously, when he was at Lipscomb. This is why Rick Stansbury brought him to Bowling Green.
Trying to work it inside. Double for a second. Here it comes. Throwing it up, put it up, off the window, kept the basket and the foul.
And Alex, that's where the ball belongs for Western Kentucky if they want to really open up the floor. You got to get Carson Williams touches.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out right now, is he a 5? Is he a 4? Last year, Carson Williams really good at the 5, averaged almost 15 points a game. This year, he's averaging 5 points a game. So he has not found how to play alongside of Charles Bassey, and that is kind of the conundrum that Rick Stansbury is going to have to deal with. Both these guys are talented guys, but they take up, as you can see, Carson Williams, he's not a small man, they take up a lot of space. And since they don't shoot it great from 3, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think Luke Frampton needs to play 35 minutes a game because he is the 3-point shooter that can spread the floor. And that is what Western Kentucky doesn't consistently have. And they go through droughts in games, whether it was against West Virginia when they had a lead and blew it, or against Charlotte in their latest loss. Guys, they didn't score the last 5:30 of regulation in an overtime loss to Charlotte.
And that's the focal point. You see, great seal.
On to this inside, La Tech with it now. Three-point attempt for the wing, misses. Offensive rebound. Put back attempt is good in the foul. Andrew Gordon coming up with the board and the bucket there for La Tech.
This is the 6'10" redshirt senior transfer from West Virginia. I think he walks. Anybody else? John, does he walk on this play? Check this.
No, I think he survived there, Tim. Good footwork. Obviously went to 5-star basketball camp. Fundamentals are there. Louisiana Tech right now understanding how to maximize opportunities early. And guys, you know, the one thing that you need to look at is it is going to be very difficult to sweep conference games, not just in Conference USA, but across the mid-major board.
Guys, we took a look at the potential Conference USA Players of the Year a little while ago. How about the overall Players of the Year? Here's Tim Doyle's National Player of the Year candidates. Where does it start, Timmy?
Yeah, well, it starts and ends with last year's National Player of the Year, Luka Garza. He's been outstanding. Davion Mitchell and Baylor. I want to know, can Baylor actually beat Gonzaga? I'm not so sure because Corey Kispert has a lot of help around him, but if I'm an NBA GM, I'm taking Kispert in the top 15 because that shooting is lights out. And then Ayo Dosunmu, how good was he against Northwestern? Slow first half, outstanding second half. That was tough to watch. Of these 4 guys, I think Garza's a lock. What do you think, John?
Garza obviously has, you know, the inside track, Tim, but I think, you know, based on what we've seen so far this year, I think you have to have Jalen Suggs up there. I think also 2 other guys from the Big Ten. Marcus Carr from Minnesota has been sensational. He was the one who made the key 3-point shot in Minnesota's win over Iowa. And a guy from Rutgers as well, Ron Harper Jr.
Record. Once again, we are on Facebook, not only tonight, but also tomorrow. So make sure you're checking out the CBS Sports Facebook page so you can watch Louisiana Tech and Western Kentucky, the sequel, right here on Facebook Watch. Alex Sobario, Tim Doyle, CBS College Basketball Insider, John Rothstein here in Bowling Green, Kentucky for this one. Conference USA matchup. 2 teams that won 20 games last year, fellas, and both teams that certainly have their sights on kind of duplicating that. But Western Kentucky, they've kind of been in that situation there, John, where they've gotten to the title game a couple of times. They didn't even have an opportunity to play the tournament last year to try to get in. They're hungry to try to get back to the NCAA tournament.
Well, Alex, you know, they've been inconsistent. This has been the most consistent team that Rick Stansbury has had the last couple of years. The last couple of years, they've looked like they could have went to the Sweet 16 or lost in the first round of the Conference USA tournament, to be honest with you.
Turnover there, and we'll go back to La Tech. You see a look at Rick Stansbury again. 5th season here at Western Kentucky.
Alex, do you think Rick Stansbury likes back-to-back games?
He does not. I don't think he does, based on our conversation with him. And this is something that's kind of been unique this year to college basketball. As we get a foul here. Free throws coming up here for La Tech. John, let's get your thoughts on this. about half the conferences in college basketball have gone to this back-to-backs, or at least the same opponent on within 3 nights. Conference USA obviously doing that. We've seen a lot of splits. In fact, in Conference USA, every team last week split except for Rice and UTSA. Rice won both of those games last week. Just your thoughts on how this has been breaking down throughout college basketball.
Well, it's something that, you need to look at, I think, in terms of the ability for mid-major teams to get at-large bids for the NCAA tournament, because Western Kentucky had a very good resume going into the series last week with Charlotte, and then that's the type of loss, if they are competing with the 10th team in the Big Ten, that could keep them out of the NCAA tournament. For Western Kentucky to get to the NCAA tournament as an at-large, it's really got to push out.
Bassey works his way to the outside, buries the triple from the top of the key, evens this up at 7 apiece.
That's only his 3rd made 3 on the season. So 3 of 16 now from 3. He starts making that shot. I think scouts are going to be drooling all over the court there.
Archibald with the miss on the drive for La Tech. Western Kentucky bringing it back quickly. This is McKnight. Hollingsworth yet to get going yet. 3-pointer from the outside, too strong.
A good point.
Rough shooting first half so far for both these teams, guys.
Yeah, good point about Hollingsworth having a tough time getting going. Last year, this was a game that Louisiana Tech was fully in control in Bowling Green, and then Hollingsworth went berserk. He had 43. They win the game 95-91 in overtime.
Friendly rims there as McKnight puts it in to give Kentucky the 9-7 lead. Just under 14 minutes to go here, first half. Conference USA here on Facebook Watch.
Offensive foul. Yep.
Foul inside. Offensive foul called against Gordon.
You see Charles Bassey, excellent job of not being baited in there by Andrew Gordon on the defensive end. And then at 6'11", are you going to let me shoot that? No problem. I just love the timing here. See how he didn't leave his feet? So many guys, they go for the eyebrow fake, and Bassey's had some games where he's blocked 7 shots like he did against Memphis. So the scouting report is he's going to jump and try to block everything. And that was just such an excellent job of showing patience as a defender as he takes a seat there on the bench, getting that quick little blowout before that under 12 timeout.
Guys, I got to tell you, I've seen Western Kentucky 5 or 6 times already this season. I've got no doubt right now that if you took Charles Bassey off Western Kentucky and put him on Kansas instead of David McCormick, Kansas is a significantly better basketball team. This kid is that good.
Yeah, and it's amazing that he's still in school, because there was a lot of rumblings early on that this was going to be a one-and-done type guy. And then obviously the leg injury last year, he missed the remainder of the season. It was an injury that took place in December. And it's got to be wearing on him. Can he get Western Kentucky to the promised land? They've been close, and then obviously no conference tournament last year, but expectations are this is the year, right? Charles Bassey, more than likely going to be a first-round pick. Tavion Hollingsworth, with 21 minutes in this game, will become the all-time leader in minutes played at Western Kentucky as Frampton misses the 3. But, John, do you think they run it back? Do they bring this band back together next year, Western Kentucky? Because all these guys are going to have another year of eligibility.
Yeah, Tim, there's going to be a lot of cases of that throughout college basketball. Wisconsin is one to monitor. They've obviously already got 5 senior starters, 3 or 50 seniors. But a wise man once told me this, and I've applied it to life every day since. Never speculate on speculation.
You know what? Williams draws the foul there.
You know what? There's going to be a lot of Van Wilders at college next year, like 26-year-old seniors. Hey, I could say that because I was 24 and a half, my 5th and final year at Northwestern. And I remember going into the cafeteria, and I felt really, really old.
And that was only 5 years ago, so I think Alex and I speak for everybody. So we said we're looking forward to your 30th birthday.
I felt like I was wearing like an overcoat. Like it was just like I just felt old. Yeah, and I wonder how many old guys end up coming back. And if I was a fourth-year guy, here's what I would do. If you're not playing, you want to go somewhere else, go get your master's. I mean, it's a free year of school. To decide you want to go to work, I'll tell you this right now, kids, work is awful. Stay in school. It's more fun.
I disagree. Work is my oxygen. Look at the transition. Look at Cooper to the goal. That's what they got to do. They got to facilitate more easy baskets in transition. The talent on this team offensively all breeds success. Frampton made 100 threes as a freshman at Davidson. Cooper was key for Lipscomb a couple of years ago. There is the talent on the perimeter to get more easy baskets for Western Kentucky.
I think Cooper is going to end up being the key because at Lipscomb the last couple of years he's averaging 10 points a game, and this year he just is not able to get right, Alex. He's averaging 2.5 points. He's shooting 19% from the field, so he doesn't have that confidence. He doesn't have that swag, and I think John's spot on. And this is what Eric Conkle, the head coach of Louisiana Tech, said. We got to get back on defense. We can't let these guys get easy buckets. You just wonder for a guy like Cooper, does this kind of get him going? That was something, Alex, that Rick Stansbury kept mentioning to us. New point guards and his team adjusting to those new point guards.
McKnight now with 4 points now for Western Kentucky. Guys, let's talk about the rest of college basketball. We did the Player of the Year this last time out. How about the Blue Bloods of college basketball? It's been an interesting year. Kentucky with the struggles early on. They're now 3-6. Duke kind of went on a bit of hiatus due to COVID-19. North Carolina not used to the record they're used to having at this stage of the year. Guys, what are your thoughts on the Blue Bloods of college basketball in 2021?
Well, I'll start, guys. You know, I look at the teams up on the board. I look at Kansas as well, who obviously we had mentioned a second ago. I know Bill Self's doing an outstanding job with that basketball team, but this is not vintage Kansas as we've come to know it. And I think when you look at those teams, with the exception of Villanova, blue blood programs this year in college basketball are not vintage blue blood programs. And that's why I think the door has never been more open for teams that are not perennial contenders to get to a Final Four to go this year. Iowa, Illinois, Creighton, Houston. Obviously, Baylor hasn't been under Scott Drew. This year in college basketball is the year of the outlier.
All right, let's take a look at one of our Facebook polls. Again, this is Game on Facebook Live, so you can take a look at what people's thoughts are. Western Kentucky seems to be at the advantage, 81-19. They're at home. This is a tough place to play, guys. A lot of teams struggle here, including Louisiana Tech. They've struggled every time they come into Diddle Arena. And so far, Western Kentucky taking care of business right now.
Western Kentucky, in my eyes, the most talented team. And I think Eric Conkle alluded to that when we spoke to him earlier in the week, that Western Kentucky has the bullseye, even though they haven't necessarily represented the conference in the NCAA. Rick Stansbury's squad has been, up against some of the top teams in college hoops this year. And Alex, he kept mentioning to us optics. And I had to finally say, I don't understand. He went eyeball test. He goes, put us up at the eyeball test against anybody. And I actually agree. I'm not sure there's
inside slam dunk there for Bassey.
Great
and that's
dive.
what we've been talking about all season long from Bassey. One of the best players overall in the country, John, but he's a guy that can certainly make things happen with his athleticism.
You are watching an All-American on both sides of the floor. Look at him here on the ball screen. He shows he's going to get back to the middle of the lane. He's going to block out. Look, gave up an offensive rebound right there, so the timing didn't work on my point.
Western Kentucky on a 9-0 run.
It was going so well. Let's go back to, I know he's going to score on this play because it's a replay, pick and roll. That's where he's going to be a fit at the next level, because that's all NBA teams do. And the fact that he stepped out and buried a jumper, I mean, he's getting better. He has not plateaued. He keeps getting better and better. And that's what makes him such a scary prospect. I don't think that he's going to come back to school. Draft boards have him as top 20 pick, and I think rightfully so. I think he's learned a lot in college. I think he's become more well-rounded in college. But when you got a chance to go, Alex, you got to go.
This is Stacey Thomas at the free throw line. comes up empty. Thomas just 1 of 2 from the free throw line before that attempt there. Western Kentucky again. 9-0 run. Louisiana Tech struggling the last few times down the floor. Just
there it is.
1 of their last 9. And Bassey getting tangled up there.
Best time to shoot a 3 on an offensive rebound. Good mileage here early out of Rawls too, guys. You know, he was somebody who was a highly touted recruit. Getting good mileage out of him as well.
This is Hollingsworth, deep range 3 with the shot clock expiring. Comes up empty there. 3-pointer from the wing, off the mark. Working it inside, a little too strong, out of play. Another turnover for La Tech.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to win a game on the road, you got to make that shot. And then if you get the offensive rebound, you can't just throw it away. My feeling is Louisiana Tech should be down 15 in this game. And the fact that it's only 5, I think if you're Eric Conkle, you go, we have 8 points the first 10 minutes of the game. We're not getting blown out. I got to feel pretty good. I thought last possession, they should have gotten a shot clock violation, but that was their best defensive possession so far of this game.
This is Frampton on the drive in. The transfer from Davidson misses. In transition, will contact on the pass to Bass.
You know, Louisiana Tech, guys, has always been a transition type program, going back to obviously when Michael White was there. They played incredibly fast when Mike White was at Louisiana Tech. Eric Conkle doing the same thing.
You know, they split with Marshall. They won the first game 75-68, and then they were up double figures in the second half of game 2 and just fell apart. He described it as we played 65 good minutes against
Pemberton.
Marshall.
Misses the 3. Offensive rebound and the putback there by Gordon.
Yeah, Alex, that's 3 straight offensive rebounds allowed by Western Kentucky. They're giving Louisiana Tech an opportunity to be closer than they should be. And then again, just carelessness on that pass. What's wrong with the shot fake?
If you're Louisiana Tech, you're happy with that. Worst rebound differential in Conference USA at -8. Folks, join the conversation in the comments. Make sure you use the hashtag LaTech versus WKU when posting photos and videos on Facebook and Instagram. Some Conference USA basketball here on Facebook Live. But that was one of the things, guys, Eric Conkle had talked about at the rebounding, as you just mentioned, John. That's one of their Achilles heels. When they don't win the rebounding battle, or at least not close, they don't win games.
No question. Louisiana Tech under Eric Conkle obviously has won big games over the years in college basketball. They won a game at Ohio State when Thad Matta was there. They won a game last year against Mississippi State when Ben Howland was there. Trying to play spoiler again tonight against, again, the consensus favorite in Conference USA.
Yeah, the thing that's so interesting, Alex, about Conference USA, Rick Stansbury said this and Eric Conkle agreed. There's no more just pushovers.
Yep.
Right? You don't just have games you know you're going to walk in. It used to be Rice. No offense to Alex, used to be the radio guy there. But it used to be Rice, and now they're getting better. And they started, 2-0 in conference. So the league top to bottom overall is better.
Hollingsworth with a drive in the bucket there for Western Kentucky as they increase their lead back up by 7.
Well, guys, to piggyback off that point about Rice, the amazing thing about Rice's resurgence is Rice lost 2 transfers. Trey Murphy, who went to Virginia, and Drew Peterson, who went to USC, who are both having significant roles, and they're playing better this year.
Dump ball for Bassey, and he finger rolls it in. Doesn't just slam it. He can hit it from the outside, can finger roll it as well. You're kind of seeing the full gamut of Bassey's abilities.
That shot's got to go in, John. You know what I mean? It was really good execution. You go pick and roll. You get a wide open 3. But Charles Bassey, watch the body control here. Hollingsworth's almost baiting in his defender. He's like, come on, big fellow. When are you going to get here? I got you from behind. And then the ability not to just run over your defender. He changes hands. When I saw him as a freshman, it was a little bit more robotic. And now there's a little more fluidity to his movements. Because I asked Rick Stansbury there, I go, you think this is a one-and-done guy? He goes, I've coached some guys that are a little bit more athletic at the center position. He's still got a ways to go, and I've seen major improvements, especially from his freshman year to now.
Let's take a look at some of the plays Bassey's made tonight, guys.
Well, he's basically been like, what do you want to see, John? You want to see outside or you want to see inside?
I know, Tim. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. There's a little bit of everything. And the biggest thing that I've noticed from Charles Bassey, his conditioning is significantly better this season, and it's significantly better tonight. Remember, he had a back issue that obviously hurt him after the Alabama game. He right now looks like himself. And again, I'll say it. I've said it before. I will say it again. If you took him off this Western Kentucky team and put him into Kansas' starting 5 ahead of David McCormick at center, you would see a significantly different aura around the Jayhawks this year.
Yeah, he's one of the few people, Alex, in this country who have gotten in shape during a pandemic. I know I've put on like 8 to 10. I don't know. I'm going to admit that, all right? I didn't know it's going to turn into a therapy session, but I'll raise my hand. So maybe I have to get on the Charles Bassey conditioning program.
Yeah, and, guys, the hard thing, too, for a team like Western Kentucky right now for the rest of the season is you've done enough in the non-conference to make yourself a viable contender for an at-large bid. But now, if you have a loss like you did last week against Charlotte, it's obviously going to bring down your resume. It's a real mental task each and every game to know that if you lose, it's going to be a bad loss in the eyes of the selection committee.
So give me a record then. 18 conference games this year, I believe, in Conference USA. What's your wiggle room? 3 conference losses?
Got to get to 15 or 16 conference losses if they're going to lose a game early in the Conference USA tournament. I don't think they can get to the NCAA tournament unless they win 15 or 16 conference games.
Frampton misses the 3 in the corner. La Tech bringing it back. This is Pemberton. Kick it out to the corner. 3-ball attempt. Williams, no.
I think if you're Louisiana Tech, you got to be happy with some of the shots you get. You're just not making them.
Block on the drive inside. Louisiana Tech now 1 of their last 14 from the field. And now find themselves down by 9.
Yeah, they've shot below 30% from 3 in conference games. Now, I know it's a short sample size, but they went into the 2-game series against Marshall hovering around 36%, and they've just really struggled.
Williams misses here. Western Kentucky not doing much better from the field tonight, shooting just 29%. Both these teams looking for a little offense, but Western Kentucky taking advantage of things at the free throw line. They're 4 of 5 when they've gotten there. Louisiana Tech just 1 of 5. Fall away inside the lane. Archibald puts it in. Ends the scoring drought of just over 2 minutes for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Archibald's been incredibly consistent over his 4 years for Louisiana Tech, and that was a senior who needed to make a shot to help his squad. That was a big bucket, because you go score here, you're down either 5 or 4, and you have not played well.
Archibald now 4 points away from reaching 1,000 for his career at La Tech as Pemberton drives in and lays it up and in. So La Tech able to put a couple of possessions together there, fellas.
And what happened there, guys? Bassey is out of the game. They go right to the rim. They get a couple of easy baskets. Great coaching there by Eric Conkle, a disciple of Jim Larinaga.
Jim Larinaga didn't hire Eric Conkle once. He hired him 3 different times, and Eric Conkle's got to look up at the score right now and say, wait, we can't make a shot? We're on the road. We're against the most talented team in Conference USA, and we're down 2 for crying out loud. We got a chance to win this game.
7-0 run here for the Bulldogs over the last minute. Western Kentucky now finds themselves treading water a bit. Drive to the bucket. Miss. Too strong there from Hollingsworth. Takeaway. Frampton's got it. Underneath. This is Hollingsworth again. Skips it over to the corner to Rawls. On the drive, and it's an offensive foul. You can call that one a mile away. Anderson gets called for it for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, I thought Amari Archibald's shot in the lane was important because it triggered everybody else to breathe a little bit. And then you get the nice drive here by Pemberton. And now you got 2 buckets in a row. And shooting can be contagious in a positive way or a negative way. Obviously, it was a negative way to start the game. And now they've scored on 3 straight possessions. Now you're able to breathe a little bit because this is the first game. That's right. The #1 time that Louisiana Tech has left the state of Louisiana. So, you know, it's just like, holy cow, we're in a different state, we're traveling, and you could tell that they've come out extremely flat, but the fact that they're only down 2, I'd be really worried if I was Rick Stansbury.
Lofton back in the game, left with 2 fouls, but now at 5:06 he's back in, struggling to put the ball on the floor. Another takeaway here from Western Kentucky. And they give it right back. Good steal there from Crawford. Crawford to the rim, lays it up. Offensive foul.
I like Crawford there. He's got the rec specs on. He was just looking for any sort of open space. Nice job by Frampton. John, I love the arc. As far as it makes it very black and white on the charges, which is one of the toughest calls in all of basketball.
And the charge calls this year in college basketball have been an abomination. An abomination. The majority of them.
Williams to the rim, lays it up and in. Brent ends the drought there for Western Kentucky of 3.5 minutes.
I'll tell you guys, Carson Williams can't jump over a phone book, but he is so crafty and so able to get things done. Unique player.
This is Ledoux to the rim. No one there to stop him. La Tech starting to get some easy buckets, guys.
They are such a different team defensively without Bassey at the front of the rim. It's like the Red Sea in there right now.
Foul underneath called against La Tech. You see Bassey on the bench.
Yeah, John, I think you're all over that and spot on with no Bassey. I mean, if I was a player, that's what I would look at. I'd be like, all right, now it's go time attacking. And I think this is Rick Stansbury trying to figure out, guys, all right, how do we use Carson Williams? And I think it's a really hard spot if you're Carson Williams, because last year you averaged almost 15 points a game. Now you're averaging 5 points a game. And Rick Stansbury's basically asking him to be 2 different players. Okay, when Bassey goes out, you're the center. We're going to go through you on the inside. All right, when Bassey is in, we need you to step out once in a while. We need you to create space. We're going to go high-low. So Carson Williams basically has to juggle, like, all right, who am I depending on the rotation? And that's difficult for any college kid to do.
Hilltoppers up by 4. Less than 4 to go. Trying to float one up there for Lofton. Bad pass. Out of play. Back to Western Kentucky. Timeout on the floor. All right, guys, you brought it up earlier, John, about the Big Ten potentially getting 10, maybe 11 teams into the NCAA tournament. Let's talk about the Big Ten. How many bids, John, do you think the Big Ten is going to get?
Well, you know, I think 10 is very much within the realm of possibility. You know, you see, obviously, the ranked Big Ten teams there this season. But, guys, you know, I think the big thing to keep in mind is that when you have a team in the Big Ten like Penn State, who nobody's talking about, who could have beaten Michigan at Michigan and could have beaten Indiana at Indiana, and they have 0 conference wins, the bottom of this league is capable of eating the middle. The only thing that can stop the Big Ten from getting 10 teams in the NCAA tournament, cannibalization at the highest level.
How about my Northwestern Wildcats? Got off to a 3-0 start in conference. First time they've been 3-0 in conference since 1967, 1968, but starting to fall a little bit apart, John. Do you think at the end of the day, Chris Collins' squad is able to get over that hump and get an elusive NCAA bid?
I definitely have an opportunity, Tim, and the thing I like about Northwestern right now, they have built equity early. They have wins over Michigan State. They have a win over Indiana. They have a win over Ohio State. At Northwestern, and I mean this respectfully, it doesn't matter the seed. You just want to get in. If Northwestern can play all 20 Big Ten games this season and they can get to 8 Big Ten wins with how strong the league is this year, metrics-wise, that should get them into the field to 68. And, guys, here's another thing I want to point out that's a big-picture topic, especially related to the Big Ten. The selection committee, and I talked to Dan Gavitt about this earlier this week, needs to put a bigger focus on the eye test when selecting the bracket. There were less guarantee games this year, so teams aren't going to have inflated records. You have to trust your eyeballs when you're selecting the bracket more so than the metrics. You can't just look at things off a computer. Look, Purdue and Indiana are two 7-5 teams. They're two teams that I think with the right matchup could win 2 games in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and you're watching Conference USA here on Facebook Live. Let's take a look at some of the interaction. Again, we had another poll question. Let's take a look at the results. Who will be the leading scorer for Western Kentucky today? And I think that was an easy answer for Charles Bassey. Bassey so far, 9 points, leading the way. But Tavian Hollingsworth, he needs to get going. He's only got 2 points, 1 of 7 from the field, guys. There's Bassey one more time. Put him in double figures now with another dunk. He's got 11.
Quick insertion, quick change. Easy basket for Western Kentucky. They couldn't throw the ball in the ocean the last couple possessions.
Less than 3.5 to go here, first half. Out in the corner, three-pointer there for La Tech. Putting it in there is Ledoux.
And Alex, Tim, you see that right there. As soon as Bassey gets into the game, Louisiana Tech runs something to go over the top of the defense. Eric Conkle, very underrated offensively.
Bassey underneath. Going with a hook. A couple of feet away from the rim. Comes up empty. 3-point lead for the Hilltoppers. Less than 3 to go. This is Archibald. He's got 5, had the ball there, back to Archibald. Into the post now to Gordon. Gordon with Bassey on him, throws it up, wild shot, but goes off of the glass to put it in. 1-point game.
You say wild, he says money. He goes, I've been doing that a long time, but I agree with you. It didn't look the smoothest, but it
was not the prettiest
result. No, it did not.
This is Rawls. Underneath, Bassey puts it up. A little too short, but he's fouled. He'll go to the line.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Charles Bassey has had since day one is just timing. And that's about the easiest bucket he's going to score all season. And coming into this week, nobody, and I repeat, nobody had more dunks than Charles Bassey. There's kind of an old school flavor to his game.
On the Wooden Award watch list, 6'11" center from Lagos, Nigeria.
He will be an All-American this year.
Where would you put him, John, as far as centers across the country? Obviously behind Garza, but how much further behind?
Well, I mean, Tim, you look at the guys that could be All-Americans this year at the big man spot. In the Big Ten alone, you have Kofi Coburn. You also got Hunter Dickinson, Drew Timme's at Gonzaga. Charles Bassey's right in the mix with all those guys. I think, Tim, you're going to see some All-American teams this year that have 2 post players on it. I really do.
Pemberton, little runner, gets it to go. La Tech back within 1 with less than 2 minutes to play in the half.
Western Kentucky has, sorry, Tim.
No, go ahead,
Western Kentucky has shown it has had a lot of issues the last 4 or 5 minutes stopping penetration.
I just, if you're Eric Conkle, you're going to go into halftime with a potential lead. That's like nuts to me.
Jumper off the mark from Hollingsworth. Chance to take the lead here for La Tech. They're 7 of their last 7. This is Ledoux. Lost the handle. Fall away. Too short. Offensive rebound. Gordon has it taken away. Rawls. Into Bassey. Underneath. Lays it in. That's too easy. Hilltoppers back up by 3 with 1:10 to go here in the half.
Bassey's been the difference. Louisiana Tech's done an excellent job on Tavian Hollingsworth. But watch how he establishes that position. He gets Gordon buried on his hip, and then you're just basically in no man's land there. I'll take a page from Braveheart, John. Mercy, mercy.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that right there. Good entry pants, better finish.
Now, here's what I would be doing in the huddle if I was Eric Conkle. Like, This is a perfect time that you could work the clock and get 2 for 1. This drives me insane about college basketball. It only happens once a game. So why can't you have something in your bag of tricks that you're going to get 2 for 1 here? Meaning, take some time, work for a good shot, and you're going to, it's just pure math here. You get 2 possessions, the other team gets 1. And this is the time to capitalize on it.
This is Pemberton and rim. And they have not stopped offensively here the last 3-4 minutes or so, guys.
Yeah, guys, I would be irate right now if I was Western Kentucky staff and they want to talk about it. I mean, it looks like they've obviously agreed to a non-compete clause on defense the last 4 or 5 minutes.
A 1-point game with 50 seconds to go. Timeout taken, Western.
Yeah, nothing is better than a coach when he calls a timeout, John, and then you shoot a 2-foot shot at the rim. You just feel like a genius. You're like, I am the smartest person alive. I drew up a play that led to a layup.
That's Bill Carmody stuff right there.
Friday at 5 Eastern, join us at CBS Sports Network for another Conference USA showdown. These Western Kentucky Hilltoppers welcome in the Marshall Thundering Herd, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
Alex, you and I could potentially become the voice of Western Kentucky over the course of this college basketball season.
We've got a lot of Hilltopper games. I'll be honest, I like chatting with Coach Stansbury. He's certainly one of our more honest coaches we get to talk to on our Zoom calls to get ready for these games.
You got to think out of a timeout. It's going to be a post-up, and it is for Williams.
Williams underneath, trying to put it up off the window. Gets it to go. 3-point game again. Archibald with the fall away. Comes up empty.
Okay, hold for one shot here if you're Western Kentucky. And you go back to the well on the inside. What do you got, John?
No, I mean, guys, I think, what's important for Western Kentucky here is to establish a situation where somebody else other than Bassey can give you offense and see what they get here.
5 seconds. 3-point attempt off the mark. Comes back out. Hollingsworth at the horn, off the mark. And Western Kentucky will go into the half with a 3-point advantage.
I think that if you're Louisiana Tech, you got to feel like, wow, we couldn't make a shot to start this game. We're only down 3. If we could shore up that defense on Charles Bassey, make other guys beat you, we got a great shot to win this game against the preseason favorite in Conference USA.
All right, let's bring in the head coach of the Hilltoppers, Rick Stansbury. Coach, what'd you like about what you did in that first half?
Well, we need to make some shots. That's number one. I don't know what this 3-point shot is, but it's a lot shot and very few made. I don't know if it's 1 for 10, 1 for 11, 12. You got to make some shots. We can't continue just to, allow on throwing it to the block or dropping it there. You got to make a few shots to loosen this game up a little bit.
Coach, so what's going to be the resolution to that? Is it going to be more Luke Frampton in the second half?
Well, all those guys that shot him, we have confidence in them shooting. I don't know if I think Luke's over 2 or 3, but that doesn't matter. He's got to keep shooting it. We played a good while without Davion point guard too, and we didn't have great rhythm with that. Rawls hadn't played a lot of point this year, so we'll get him back. Got to help us too.
All right, Coach, thanks for the time. Good luck.
Yep.
That's head coach Rick Stansbury. Western Kentucky with a 31-28 lead at the half. We'll be right back after this here on Facebook Live.
When you were younger, what dreams did your future hold? Going to space?
9:34 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Saving lives? Sharing knowledge? Launching a business? Creating timeless art? No matter your dreams, you can chase them here. You belong at Louisiana Tech.
I have a voice.
You have a voice.
We have a voice.
Our voices can be heard
Outside of sports.
As student athletes,
we have a platform.
Now more than ever.
It's important that we listen, learn, and lead.
And raise our voices for change.
We can all do more.
Now is the time
to make a difference.
This is our chance.
This is our chance to make a better tomorrow.
Together, we will continue the conversation.
We have a voice.
back here in Bowling Green. 31-28 lead for Western Kentucky. And we welcome you back. Alex Sobario, Tim Doyle, college basketball insider John Rothstein here with you. And fellas, interesting first half to say the least. Western Kentucky, they struggled with their shot. They still were able to build a lead, and then La Tech went on a little bit of a run there.
Yeah, I think Western Kentucky can beat anybody on any given night. The problem this year has been in their losses, massive droughts. John, we heard from Rick Stansberry at halftime, we got to make some outside shots. Easier to say that, harder to do it.
Much harder to do it, Tim. And, part of the ability to get efficient outside shots is to get paint touches first. It has to start with Charles Bassey. If you can establish Charles Bassey, it's going to continue to get higher percentage looks for guys like Luke Frampton, as you mentioned, the Davidson transfer, who I, again, want to mention, made 100 three-point shots when he was a freshman playing for Bob McKillop.
And this is our first Conference USA game here on Facebook Live this season. Let's take a look at around the conference, some of the news and notes. And Tim, the Owls, you talked about this with me. Of course, they're a team that I've called games for in the past. 2-0 start to start the league play.
Now I'm going to throw it back to you. What's impressed you most about Rice here, Alex?
The fact that they've been able to score the basketball, and John mentioned it earlier, the fact that they've lost a couple of players due to transfers, and the fact that they were able to be the only sweep in Conference USA last week.
Andy Kennedy, his team's net is through the roof. John, I need to see a little bit more, though.
Yeah, UAB, like a lot of teams right now in this league, is building it with transfers. Trey Jemison, obviously from Clemson, doing a great job for them in the middle. You also saw the note there on Javon Jackson. But, guys, getting back to Rice, we had touched on during the first half. They lost Drew Peterson, obviously, to USC, who had a big hand in the win last night for the Trojans at Arizona. And they also lost Trey Murphy, who's averaging in double figures for Virginia. But it works both ways. Scott Pera at Rice has brought in a transfer from VMI, Travis Evie, who has really helped stabilize the Owls. And as we're seeing this metamorphosis in college basketball where recruiting transfers may usurp the importance of recruiting high school kids, programs at the mid-major level are going to take other mid-major players or lesser players at high major levels to recalibrate their roster.
Let's take a look at the preseason poll for CUSA from earlier this year, guys, and see where everyone kind of stacked up. Western Kentucky predicted to be there. Now, this is 1 through 14. They're doing divisions this year to decide how the seeding works in Conference USA, but North Texas has come on strong here in recent years. And John, this is why we were talking about earlier, the depth of CUSA probably deeper than it's been in a very long time.
Well, you got a team number 8 in UTEP that has already won a game at Arizona State and was very competitive, obviously, against Arizona. And, guys, keep your eye on Florida International number 11. They have a guy who is going to be a coach that's on an upward trajectory in college basketball, and Jeremy Ballard. He worked for Shaka Smart when he was at VCU. I've had the chance to watch his ascension from Tulsa all the way to VCU to Pitt, now to Florida International. This guy is going to have Florida International well above 11.
Here's a look at the current standings in Conference USA. Everyone at 1-1 on the east side. Of course, we talked about Rice, the only team to go 2-0 in the first weekend. Any surprises so far, John?
I look at things, from top to bottom, and it's obviously an inequitable season. Rice, to me, would be, the biggest surprise. There's no doubt about it with what the Owls have done. Also, I look at a Charlotte team that was able to beat Western Kentucky last weekend. Guys, remember, Charlotte lost Malik Martin, a key player, as a transfer last year. He is the brother of Hassan Martin. He followed his brother to go to the University of Rhode Island. He's having a big role for David Cox's team this year, and Charlotte was still able to beat Western Kentucky.
Yeah, Charlotte's got another good win, Alex. They knocked off Davidson earlier this year, and I know Davidson was picked kind of middle of the pack of the Atlantic 10, but they're better than expected, and I think they're going to be a really difficult out. Just ask Duquesne, who they recently beat up on, but I think there's so much parity here. The ultimate challenge is going to be, and John mentioned this during the broadcast, if you're just joining, to get that magic at-large bid. There's not a lot of wiggle room, and the fact that Western Kentucky's already dropped a conference game. Optics, eyeball test, that's what Rick Stansberry was saying. I believe they're a tournament team. Would I bet on it? I wouldn't.
Well, and I think the thing we need to look at, and this is for all conferences, it's not just Conference USA, but if you are a team, whether it's the second or third best team in the Atlantic 10, or if you're Western Kentucky and you don't win your conference tournament, you are not competing for an NCAA tournament berth necessarily against other teams in your league in the same position. You are competing against a team that might be in the middle of the pack of the ACC like a Georgia Tech. You might be competing against a team like a Northwestern who's the 10th or 11th best team in the Big Ten. This is how you have to obviously be mindful of things moving forward if you're a team that's going to try and sneak into the NCAA tournament.
All right, guys, we are at halftime here between Western Kentucky and Louisiana Tech. We'll have more coming up. You're watching Conference USA on Facebook Live.
WKU is home for big dreamers, for those who shape the future, who set their sights high, accept challenges, fuel their passions, for those with a desire to create a better tomorrow. You don't come here to prepare for one thing. You come here to prepare for everything. You belong on this hill, where we engage, learn, grow, and celebrate together. Climb with us at Western Kentucky University.
For 25 years, Conference USA student athletes have done things the only way that we know how, the CUSA way. In that quarter of a century, we've learned a thing or two about winning, both on and off the field. Our student athletes are more than just great athletes. They're fantastic students, and they're outstanding citizens who give back to their communities. We're committed to excellence. We are stronger together. That's the CUSA way.
And we welcome you back to Bowling Green, Kentucky, Western Kentucky. First game of a two-game series this weekend against the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech. They lead at 31-28 at the half. Alex Obario, Tim Doyle, CBS college basketball insider John Rothstein joining us here at the half. And let's take a look, guys, at some of the first let's take a look at the AP Top 10 and see what's going on here. And we also had the net rankings come out this week. There were some big games in college basketball that kind of affected these things. There's Texas sitting at number 4 after their big win against Kansas. Tennessee with a loss. They're down to 9. John, your thoughts on the top 10 now?
Well, I think, you've got the top 5 right there that's really separating itself from the rest of the pack. Creighton is significantly better defensively than it's been under Greg McDermott. Love Tennessee defensively as well. And how about Wisconsin? They start 5 seniors and 3 fifth-year seniors, and 6 of their top 8 can buy beer legally.
Yeah, and it's almost a blue plate special up there in Madison, and I don't know if we run it back. Hey, we're going to the gym. We're streaking through the quads and back to the Kohl Center for another year with these older guys. But I feel like watching Gonzaga game by game, guys, everybody's playing for second this year, and they will run the table. We talked about Corey Kispert, Jalen Suggs, Timmy. I mean, how many guys do you have, for crying out loud, Mark Few? Your team was almost better last year. It's like an embarrassment of riches there. Can Kentucky rebound and still dance? I know we got some hashtag BBN fans watching this game. I want to hear John's thoughts. And please, I'm begging you, right? I know I'm not on camera. I got 2 hands together right now. I'm saying, please, more mid-major teams this season. Because if Loyola Chicago didn't win the Missouri Valley Conference tournament a few years back, we would have never heard of Sister Jean. We would have never saw that miraculous run. We need the Western Kentuckys. We need the Drakes of the world. Can Bryant run the table and Jarrett Grasso in the Northeast Conference and maybe be a 2-loss squad? I want to see more small guys. And John, am I crazy? I got Darren DeVries and the Drake Bulldogs in the final.
Yeah, I think everybody in America enjoyed some obviously nice festivities during the holidays. Tim's has carried over until the first week of January. Drake in the Final Four. I mean, they were picked 7th in the Missouri Valley Conference preseason poll, and much like the lyrics say, started from the bottom, now they're here. But in all essence, I love the first 3 picks for Tim, the 4th. Let's crawl before we can walk.
All right, so that's a look at Tim's Final Four. John, obviously, I don't think you're accepting of the Drake thought, but what did you think of the rest of his Final Four picks there?
I can't disagree with any of them, and I think the interesting point we need to look at when it comes to Gonzaga, and I wrote this today in the daily column that I pen each and every morning, the story for me isn't about whether or not Gonzaga is going to get to Selection Sunday with a perfect record. What I'm curious to see is, will they be tested before the bracket comes out on March 14th? The West Coast Conference is definitely an improved conference. San Francisco already has a win this season over Virginia. But Gonzaga is also playing at a higher level than it has in the past because of Jalen Suggs at the point guard spot. With no fans and no traditional home court venues in the West Coast Conference, I'm not sure if we're going to see a Gonzaga team that put up 98 on Virginia and Tony Bennett be tested before the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and Eric Kunkel said this about Louisiana Tech, and I thought it was a really good point. He goes, sure, we've lost some games that we have not played well, but you learn from those adversities.
Yes.
You know, what has Gonzaga gone through adversity-wise? They've had some tough non-conference games, but they're going to have to go back in the memory bank maybe 30 to 60 days of when they actually played a competitive game and what to do. They're going to have the big old bullseye when everyone goes to the great state of Indiana for the NCAA tournament this year. Everybody is going to be gunning for them. And now it's a different spot. Only, 10, 12 years ago, they were the Cinderella, and now they get the bullseye. What a great job by Mark Few. But an embarrassment of riches there. So much talent up in Spokane.
3 All-Americans, I would say, in Suggs, Kispert, and Timmy, whether it's first, second, or third team. And as far as Kentucky goes, Kentucky needs to rebound if they're going to get to the NCAA tournament by beating teams that are going to be projected into the NCAA tournament.
All right, we got head coach Eric Kunkel of Louisiana Tech joining us here. Coach, you guys struggled with the shot early, but able to make a little bit of a run, close the gap. What'd you like the way you ended the half?
Well, I like that we kept fighting. You know, it was a pretty half, especially on the offensive end. We turned it over way too many times. We've been fouling them, putting them on the free throw line. But sometimes it can't be that way. We just got to keep pushing forward, got to keep finding a way.
Did you have a moment in that first half, Coach, where you looked up and you were like, wow, we're still in this game?
Well, honestly, in a way, yes, because the way that we were putting them on the free throw line, we're 1 of 5 from the free throw line. We haven't played our game yet, and that was really the message at halftime. We got to come out here. We were fortunate to stay in this game. I'm sure they're feeling the same way, that they can play a whole lot better. But we're going to have to keep them off the backboards. We're going to have to take care of the basketball and start making some shots.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
That's head coach Eric Kunkel of Louisiana Tech. Let's look back at the first half a bit. Let's start with Jakobi Pemberton, guys.
Yeah, he got a nice job of kind of using his aggressive nature, the left-hander. Some tough drive to the basket. I really felt like Amari Archambault set the tone. He made a tough floater in the lane. And ever since that point, I think that sparked the rest of his team. And Pemberton, great job being aggressive, going to the basket. And that was really what John pointed out. When Bassey stepped out of the game, that's when Louisiana Tech's eyes started to light up. If you haven't seen Charles Bassey, watch this highlight tape, because this could be like your scouting combine tape. Oh, you want to see a 3, left-hand finish, post moves, finishes at the rim. He's as good as advertised, and he's one of the best big men, John, in all of college hoops.
No question, he's one of the best big men in college hoops. Sorry, Alex.
Let's take a look at the first half. No worries, John. And the shooting was not good early for either of these teams. Louisiana Tech went on a big run where they made 9 straight shots. What do these teams need to do in the second half, fellas?
Yeah, I think that John pointed out a real key that, not sure if Eric Kunkel or his staff heard it, but when Bassey goes out of the game, go towards the basket. And Rick Stansbury told us right before halftime, we got to make some shots. I think that Luke Frampton has to be out in the cart more. I like Carson Williams. I love what he did last year. He doesn't fit playing alongside Charles Bassey, but I think Louisiana Tech should feel fortunate to only down 3 in this spot.
All right, we're back to action here in the second half. 31-28 lead for Western Kentucky. La Tech, the Bulldogs in the blue. Hilltoppers in the white. Alex Obarrio, Tim Doyle, John Rothstein. Glad to have you with us here on Facebook Live. Drive to the bucket. Nice high shot there off of the window by Jakobi Williams.
The sophomore leads the team in assists and steals, and he put that one high off the glass. Really nice start for Louisiana Tech.
First bucket for him in the game. 1-point deficit for the Bulldogs. Now Western Kentucky looking to respond with their first possession of the half.
You see Williams and Bassey, they're like in each other's way right now. Look how many guys are down there.
Double team comes on Bassey. He retreats now back inside of the layup, and that's what makes him so difficult to guard, guys.
Looks like a video game sometimes. It's so easy for him.
That's the type of stuff, Alex, he did not have in his bag when he got to Bowling Green. And his offensive game has really expanded. And that's why he stayed in school.
Well said, Tim.
Here's Archibald to the rim. Oh, rejected from behind there from Bassey. Here come the Hilltoppers on the break. Drive to the rim. Anderson able to put it in. Western Kentucky up 5.
That was exactly what Eric Conco was worried about. He just talked about getting shots on the rim because he was worried Bassey.
Ledoux, and there's another one from Bassey. This is Anderson to the rim, two-handed flush. Western Kentucky now up 7.
Well, it's pretty clear what Rick Stansbury was saying at halftime. We need easy baskets. Take the ball to the rim. Let's see if they can continue to provide separation right now.
Can we get the trifecta from Bassey? Do they dare drive again?
Pemberton down low into Lofton. Bassey on him, trying to find some. There's another one. Anderson for 3, no. Here's Ledoux on the break. Taking it a runner and a block from behind after the whistle by Anderson.
This is the definition of a block party. I mean, do it responsibly, social distance everybody, but you can still have fun. I mean, you're outside, maybe wear the mask. But he has just been, watch the timing here. Oh, how many pump fakes are you gonna give me? Eyebrow fake, no problem. 3 straight possessions, 3 straight blocks. And the best part is about it, he took a page, John, from the old Bill Russell. Not just block the shot out of bounds, block the shot, keep it in bounds, and then ignite the break the other way.
It's one of the great things that Bill Russell was always known for, keeping the possession alive, Tim.
Bassey came in, the only Division I player averaging 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. He's picked up 3 in less than 3 minutes. Six-point lead for the Hilltoppers with the basketball. Bassey cutting, they don't get it to him. Falling down is Hollingsworth. Here comes Williams to the rim. Throws it up, draws the foul. Free throws coming up for Williams.
I mean, this is going to be the frustrating thing to watch Western Kentucky this year is, you know, when they're not making perimeter shots and they're not able to get out in transition, they're really going to struggle because everybody's just going to pack it in defensively.
All right, let's take a look at the fact that we're on Facebook Live, guys. Things to know. You want to join the conversation, make sure you put something in the comments. You can throw pictures, anything you want in there. Use the hashtag LaTech versus WKU when you post those photos and videos. And don't forget, if you don't want to see any of the comments, just want to watch the game, just swipe right to go into quiet mode. 37-32, Western Kentucky on top. La Tech hanging around. No field goals, though, for La Tech over the last 3 minutes or so. Bassey lost sight of the shot clock, lets it fly way after the horn.
Tight defense right there by Louisiana Tech. Tight defense. They're doing everything they can right now to make Bassey uncomfortable. We all know that if the Hilltoppers were a snake, he would be the head.
So La Tech trying to take advantage off the turnover. This is Williams. Down low into Lofton. Lofton trying to find some room. Bassey seals him off. Kick it outside. Back to Lofton trying to get it back out. The Jackie Moon pass back and forth. Williams outside, Ledoux to the rim. Blocked from behind by Anderson. Defense has really stepped up for Western Kentucky in the second half.
And it's not shots blocked right there, guys. It's shots altered.
Absolutely.
Ball batted around. Bassey trying to come up with it. We get a foul. It's going to be on Williams.
Yeah, there's no stat there, John, but that's like basically a block shot because Ledoux drove in there, saw Bassey, and he went, oh no, and ends up missing the shot.
So timeout on the floor, 37-32 Western Kentucky on top. Guys, some interesting news came out of college basketball this week. We learned some news about the NCAA tournament and the sites here. Let's take a look at the bubble. all of the tournament games going to be taking place in Indianapolis. Here are some of the sites where games will be played, including Hinkle Fieldhouse, Lucas Oil Stadium. What do you guys think of the all-in-one site NCAA tournament for 2021, the bubble?
You know, I think it's outstanding. It's tremendous forward thinking by the NCAA. Obviously, we are in, you know, a once-in-a-century global pandemic. This obviously condenses everything. The testing protocols are going to be universal across the board, and this is something we had to do to obviously have the greatest event in sports, you know, not go 2 years without being played.
Yeah, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to my life. I mean, it's simple right now. Things are falling apart. I have little kids. The marriage is hanging on by a thread. And now the tournament is going to happen. Is there a better sporting event in all of American sports? I don't think so. Fill out your brackets, get excited. Games 11 a.m. in Central Time all the way to midnight Central Time, maybe in Chicago. This is awesome. Indiana is a true basketball state, the best basketball state in all of 50 states. I'm sorry, New York. I'm sorry, Maryland, California. Indiana is the best basketball state out there, and these are some historically great venues.
Now, John, you got some more color on the NCAA tournament about everything that's going on in the bubble. What else can you tell us about what's going to happen? Do we have information on the dates of everything that's going to happen?
Well, not yet, Alex. You know, I talked to Dan Gavitt Wednesday night, you know, for us on CBS Sports Network, and he told me that obviously, you know, they're still working through that. This much I can tell you guys. The names of the regions have not been decided yet, but Dan Gavitt did tell me Wednesday night that the first four will not take place 2 days after Selection Sunday, as it normally will. As we see the steal here in the finish, we're going to have a three-point game. But he did say that the tournament will end on April 5th, so the calendar's going to remain the same. We just don't know what the calendar looks like right now.
La Tech hanging around. Three-point game here in Bowling Green tonight. It's Bassey. 10 on the shot clock now. Hollingsworth. Lost the handle. 3 on the shot clock. He's got to get it off. Up in the air. And we get a whistle. Didn't get an initial signal for a shot clock violation, and we get a foul. So Hollingsworth's going to get bailed out, and he's going to the free throw line.
And these defensive adjustments, guys, by Eric Conkle have been stalwart. They are pretty much doing everything they can to not let Western Kentucky get the ball near the rim, Tim.
Yeah, and a guy like Tavion Hollingsworth, this is like the last thing you want to see for a guy who struggled from the field. He's 1 of 10 in this spot in the game, but this is his bread and butter. Few guards in the country are better at getting to the free throw line. And there's the Davidson transfer, Luke Frampton checking into the game. He's going to try to spread the floor. But if you're Eric Conkle, you're thinking, oh no. Because 2 simple free throws can get any scorer going. And Hollingsworth last year in this matchup, at home, he had 43 big points.
Hollingsworth connects. 39-34 now. First game of a 2-game set between these two clubs. They'll play again tomorrow. Another game you can watch here on Facebook Live. On the miss, Bassey with a rebound. Here's Frampton for 3. Off the mark there.
You know, guys, I'm running out of adjectives for Bassey right now on both sides of the floor.
Three-pointer from the top. I'm sorry, John.
No. I said, I'm sorry, I stepped on you, Alex. I was going to say Louisiana Tech keeps coming. Then I remembered I'm not the play-by-play guy. I'm not the color guy either. I'm just schmoozing on a Friday night.
Just hanging out here on Facebook Live. Here's Bassey. Jump hook, gets his own rebound and the putback. Got an adjective for that one, John?
I got a thesaurus in the next room. Let me see if I can pull some strings.
41-37, Hilltoppers. The La Tech still hanging around. This is Crawford to the rim. Scored the basket on the foul.
Really nice patience there from Isaiah Crawford on the drive. As we flip back to Charles Bassey. Watch, this isn't really pretty, but I love the fact he attacks. Just quick jump that ball off the charts athleticism, staying hungry, staying humble, Charles Bassey. And then on the flip side, it wasn't the fastest drive, but it was the most efficient from Isaiah Crawford. Look up at the scoreboard, 1-point game, and I've said this all along. Eric Conkle, I asked him at halftime, I said, you had to look at the scoreboard and be like, man, we're still in this game. If Bassey doesn't block those 3 shots, they would have the lead here.
This is Rawls. 1-point game, Western Kentucky. There's a takeaway. Chance to take the lead here for La Tech. This is Bass for 3 in the corner, no. Offensive rebound, Gordon. Gordon running out of room, and he's called for the travel.
That's just, you got to know who's guarding you. I mean, right? I mean, you get an offensive rebound, great. I know you feel like, all right, this is my ball, I can go make a play. But you're being guarded by, I don't know, one of the 7 best defenders in all of college basketball. Like, throw it out, get some offense going. You got a chance to take the lead. Instead, empty possession here. And this is pretty simple. On the flip side, if you're Western Kentucky, you got to make a perimeter shot. They're 1 of 14 from 3. They have to make enough shots to keep the defense honest. And if they don't, you know, they're going to end up losing this game. It's pretty simple.
Three-point shooting has not gone well tonight for Western Kentucky. They are 1 of 14 from downtown. Three-point attempt, though, from Rawls. Comes up empty, make it 1 of 15 for the Hilltoppers. And Coach Stansbury told us, Tim, that this was going to be an issue for them. Shooting the basketball is not what they do. Drive to the bucket here, and a foul. We got a question here on Facebook. Again, you can be interactive here, leaving the comments. Which NBA player does Bassey remind you of? From Michael Milstein. John, I'll let you field that one first, and then Tim.
Oof, that's a tough one, guys. Nothing is jumping out right now. I've never been somebody who wants to force a comparison, so I'm going to take the next 12:45 and go over some notes.
You know,
go ahead, Tim.
Two guys that he reminds me of, and it's interesting because Mitchell Robinson was originally supposed to go to Western Kentucky, but his timing and athleticism, blocking shots, running the floor, remind me a little bit of Mitchell Robinson, and I think he could be like a Clint Capella type in the NBA in the pick and roll. So I'll give you one guy. I'll give you 2 guys for crying out loud.
Louisiana Tech taking the lead. It's a 1-point game. 12-4 run for La Tech over the last 5 minutes. Knight pulls up. He comes up empty on the shot.
They have gotten nothing offensively out of McKnight or Rawls.
Runner in the lane. No, the tip in from Crawford is good. And the foul.
Isaiah Crawford was outstanding against Marshall in the 2-game set. He scored 33 points. He was efficient from the field. He got to the free throw line in the second half. We've seen him with penetration. We've seen him with ball fakes in there. Offensive rebound bucket. I felt like Louisiana Tech had some alligator blood. They were hanging around, and now with a made free throw, wild to think they have a 4-point lead.
So La Tech now with a 4-point lead, outscoring the Hilltoppers 17-10 here in the second half. Tim, what's been working for La Tech defensively?
Yeah, they're just forcing Western Kentucky to make jump shots. It's pretty simple.
There's Frampton from the outside for 3, and he hits one. Just the second 3-pointer of the game for Western Kentucky. Frampton ends a scoring drought for himself. He was 0 for 5 before that make.
Whenever he's open, he needs to shoot, John. He can't lose confidence, even though the first couple didn't go in.
He's a guy that you say has intergalactic range.
Lofton, dump off underneath. Great pass from the big fella. Isaiah Crawford with another lay-in here for La Tech. It's back up to 3 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you see the unique skill set of Kenneth Lofton, the big fella of Louisiana Tech. Felt that double team. And now with no Bassey in the game, John did a great job of pointing out this is where Louisiana Tech can really exploit Western Kentucky on the inside.
That's that drive. Off-balance shot out of play. It'll stay with Western Kentucky. Bringing John Rothstein again here. Again, Alex Obario, Tim Doyle, John Rothstein here with you for La Tech and Western Kentucky. And John, talk about sleeper teams in the NCAA. Who are some of the teams you like in terms of that we're not thinking about right now in Conference USA, but may be there when this is all said and done?
Well, I think you have to start with UTEP, guys, and I know I've been beating a dead horse since we got on the air, but the one thing I like to look for when I view mid-major teams is, do you have high major transfers? Jamal Bieniemy started last season for Oklahoma at point guard. They've also got Sully Boom, who was a good player at San Francisco and was sensational early in the season, getting about 20 points a game. And Bryson Williams, who I talked about earlier, was the guy that was recruited as a transfer from Fresno State to go to the Pac-12. He had offers from Oregon. He had offers from Arizona, but he opted to go to play at UTEP for Rodney Terry. This is a team that I think can get better and better as time goes on.
Here we are on Facebook Live. Chance for you to be interactive with us and with the broadcast. Let's take a look at another one of our poll questions. Can La Tech pull off an upset tonight? 79% of you said no. Don't know when the voting closed for this, Tim, but right now La Tech has to like where they're at pulling this off.
Yeah, well, I feel it early on. It looked like a safe bet as Louisiana Tech was just struggling to put the ball in the basket for their first 17 from the field, but really have competed on the defensive end, and their attention to detail on defense has just been outstanding. You got a guy like Tavion Hollingsworth, one of the leading scorers and one of the best players in the history of Western Kentucky basketball. He just broke the minutes record for most minutes played ever at Western Kentucky, and he has struggled mightily in this game. Really nothing going from the field. 1 of 10 from the field for Hollingsworth. And this really comes down to, this is really simple basketball. Can you make outside jumpers? Luke Frampton made one. I think he needs to be on the floor the next 10:57 of the second half just to space the floor. He's taking a look at Hollingsworth. And on the flip side, Louisiana Tech, no Charles Bassey. If I'm Eric Conkle in that huddle, I'm saying attack, attack, attack. Get Kenneth Lofton the ball on the offensive end.
3 on the shot clock. Quickly got to get it off. Three-pointer doesn't hit the rim. Shot clock violation goes back to the Bulldogs. And you know, Tim, when these two teams face off against each other, the games are close. Last meeting was an overtime game. Since they've been in CUSA, Western Kentucky, the series has been a 4-3 lead in the series for Western Kentucky, but they do well in this building. La Tech hasn't won here in Bowling Green since Western Kentucky joined Conference USA, as we get a spin move and a make there. La Tech increasing their lead up to 5. But when these two teams play, Tim, they're battles.
Yeah, and it's just attacking the rim. You're getting right next to the bucket. No Bassey, no problem for Louisiana Tech.
This is Williams. Rawls back to Williams, throwing it up off the window. Too strong. Here's Crawford. It's poked away from behind, out of play, and it's going to stay with La Tech.
Now, I'm not saying Louisiana Tech's going to win this game, but, John, this just speaks to the depth of the conference. You got a team picked in the middle of the pack going to the top of the conference, and they got a 5-point lead. And I wouldn't say they played exceptionally well in this game.
No, but I will say this. This is what brings fear to your heart if you're a Western Kentucky fan and you're thinking about the Conference USA tournament. You only get one crack at this thing in March.
This is Jakobi Williams. Trying to get the pass into Lofton and a takeaway and a reach-in foul. Isaiah Crawford, that's an underclassman mistake right there.
They were trying to go high-low there. That's right. Crawford, the sophomore, to Lofton, the freshman. Good job by Carson Williams, the Northern Kentucky transfer, fighting over, because that was a chance to push this to 7, maybe even 8 on that possession. This is danger zone time if you're Western Kentucky. And, you know, as much as Rick Stansbury wants to draw up plays and get the whiteboard out, and here's what we need to do on offense, here's what you need to do. You got to make some shots on the perimeter.
Kentucky down 5, spin move, Williams throws it up. And able to get the bucket there, closing the gap yet again. It's down to 3.
Yeah, they can ill afford to trade baskets right now. Western Kentucky needs some stops.
Lofton. This is Bass on the drive. Too short on the lay-in. Ball tapped out. Oh, and it bounces off of the leg and out of play, and it's going to go back to the Bulldogs.
Rawls can't believe it. And that's when things are like not going well, and then that happens. It's like 2,000 spoons when all you need is a knife. Hey, I'm happy you guys didn't know the rest of those lyrics. It's Alanis Morissette.
Mid-90s, going deep.
Isn't it ironic? Three-pointer in the corner from Ledoux. 52-46.
And guys, you know, Rick Stansbury loves Davion McKnight. They got to get some offense out of him. Him, Hollingsworth, Rawls, they need somebody on the perimeter. There you go.
Hollingsworth. But again, as you said, John, you don't want to get in a trading basket situation. La Tech certainly a little bit more efficient offensively, at least more guys that can fill it. On the other end, another make. Western Kentucky closes it back to 2.
Some friendly rims there for the Hilltoppers. Carson Williams rolled in, and then Hollingsworth, same fortunate bounce.
Pemberton, handoff. Ledoux for 3, too strong. Western Kentucky can tie or regain the lead here. On the drive, no. Offensive rebound on the tip there from Anderson. Misses, but we get a foul. All right, timeout on the floor. La Tech with a 2-point lead. Let's take a look ahead here at the remaining schedule, or the upcoming schedule, I should say, for Western Kentucky. And you see some of the games from earlier this season, actually. Northern Iowa picked up the win there, win at Alabama. Certainly some good opponents on the schedule. Western Kentucky and Rick Stansbury likes to schedule tough guys.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt, Tim.
None of their games. Sorry, John, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Players first.
No, he tried to do what he can. Like, you try to schedule who he's trying to schedule. He's trying to get games that are quality net games, and instead, you know, he said they had to stay in Louisville for 4.5 days before that game was played because of the virus. They went right from South Dakota in the bubble, where they played 3 games in 3 nights, right to Louisville. They waited 4.5 days, and they just came out and they were flat, John.
Yeah, no question, but they were able to rally and beat Alabama, a team right now that's in first place of the SEC. What Rick Stansbury needs, in addition to winning, obviously, the bulk of their games in Conference USA, Western Kentucky needs Memphis to get on track in the American Athletic Conference. Penny Hardaway's team has been a big disappointment this season.
Once again, you're watching Conference USA on Facebook Live. I invite you to join in on the conversation by leaving some messages in the comments. You could be a part of this broadcast. Use the hashtag LaTech versus WKU when you post for photos and videos on Facebook and Instagram. And if you don't want to see the comments flowing through as you watch this game on your mobile device, just swipe right, and you can just see the basketball, or perhaps the mugs of the best hair in the Big Ten, Tim Doyle, college basketball insider John Rothstein. I'm Alex Sobario. Glad to have you with us here. Don't forget, these two teams face off against each other again tomorrow here on Facebook Live. And as we've seen so far in Conference USA, guys, it could be a completely different game, that second game.
Well, that's one of the things, guys, that's interesting, not just about Conference USA, but mid-major basketball as a whole. These quick turnarounds, you are seeing different results the majority of the time on that second game.
And Tim, Coach Stansbury, you know, a couple of times in our call with him, he was going through, he kind of had all of the intelligence of all of these back-to-backs throughout the country with how teams are performing.
Yeah, he rolled off the Colgate 50-point win over Army, and the next night Army comes back and wins. And you saw that Boise game. Who was that against? That
San Jose State. San Jose State lost to Boise by 52 one day, and then 2 days later had a chance to win the game on the final possession. It's not anarchy. It's just college basketball.
And it's just happening throughout, John. I mean, we saw a couple more examples there. Conference USA, everything was a split. Again, we talked about Rice, the only team to come up with 2 wins. What do you think the reason for that is?
Well, I mean, I think there's familiarity with the opponent, first of all, but also mentally, if you've already beaten a team and then 48 hours later you're getting ready to play them again, you know, it's tough to sometimes create your own juice, especially if there's no fans in attendance.
Three-pointer from the right wing with the shot clock expiring. Does not hit the rim, hits only glass. We got a 1-point game here, 7:22 to play. And it hasn't been the prettiest game shooting-wise. La Tech shooting just 40% from the field. Western Kentucky, 35% for the game. Tim, is that defense or just unfriendly rims right now?
No, I think this is going to be Western Kentucky's bugaboo, is can they make outside shots? Because you get this guy the ball, he's really effective off the bench. First possession, you get him a touch. But when the whole entire crowd, you know it, I know it, the American people know it, they want to go to Charles Bassey, well, then you got to have a couple of other options, especially on the perimeter. That's why a guy like Frampton, at least he spaces the floor when he is in the game.
Eric Konkel's made an adjustment, guys. He is now fronting Bassey in the post to try and make it even more difficult. This has obviously got to be where the ball belongs for Western Kentucky here the rest of the way.
There's something to watch for, Alex. Just when they go pick and roll, everybody is going under. Everybody is leaving the ball. You know, the ball handler to force jump shots.
Western Kentucky regains the lead by 1 on the 2 free throws from Bassey. He's got 21 to lead all scorers right now. 21 and 14. Another double for Bassey. Archibald outside. This is Crawford. And we're going to whistle, and he's called for the walk.
And last 2 possessions, Bassey's in the game. Get a long jumper, and then you get a turnover. They're going to have to try some different things in order to get some offense. I think it's really going to come down to Archibald and Ledoux. Those guys are going to have to make some shots on the perimeter.
7-0 run for the Hilltoppers over the last 2 minutes and change. Hollingsworth. Jumper from inside the free throw line. Misses.
Look at this.
Bassey keeps fighting. La Tech comes up with it, and a foul from behind by Hollingsworth. That's a frustration foul.
And now if you're Louisiana Tech, now you'll be shooting the bonus going forward. That was the stuff when I was on the court I was highly aware of. Now I can get aggressive as a player because every foul I'm going to be shooting free throws.
La Tech looking for a response. Dump off underneath, and the one-handed flush there from Gordon. La Tech gets the lead back. Our 5th lead change of the game. Trying to entry pass, and it's intercepted. La Tech doing a good job of preventing Bassey from getting the ball there. Shot in the corner. No. Massey with a rebound.
That's good offense there from La Tech.
Drive to the bucket. Foul is called. Miss on the layup, but free throws coming up here for Josh Anderson.
Yeah, you got Charles Bassey out in no man's land here. Pick and roll, he comes high. Rotation is slow, and then next time down, they run the same sort of action The rotation is on. Skip pass, wide open three. La Tech not able to convert. Western Kentucky doing what it does, getting back to the free throw line. There was a stretch there, Alex, where Rick Stansbury's teams, year to year, were making more free throws than his opponents were even attempting. So that has been his MO ever since he was at Mississippi State. Be aggressive, attack.
14th in the country in free throw percentage as well, Western Kentucky entering tonight. You talk about the attempts, they're up there as well. And you look at that efficiency, 14 to 17 tonight from the free throw line. This is Gordon underneath, finds some room, past Bassey, ball spins around the rim and finds its way in the hoop. Gordon gets credit for it. He's got 12, a perfect 6 of 6 from the field. He's got 9 rebounds as well. 1 point lead for La Tech.
Yeah, we got to see a replay of that. I thought that might have been goaltending. Yeah, on the flip side, watch. Great job by Gordon getting position. And then was this ball, John, still on the rim?
Yeah, I think it was. Look at this angle right here. It's hard to see in that angle if he touched it or if it just rolled in by itself.
You know, it was interesting because I thought Josh Anderson, Alex, had put his hand through the rim, and that would have been automatically defensive goaltending. So there was a lot going on there in the rim, and I think the refs just went, yeah, just count it.
Certainly a lot of active hands near the basket. Another make from the free throw line. Western Kentucky up by 1. Just under 5 to go here from Bowling Green.
Guys, they went right at Charles Bassey the last couple possessions. Let's see if they're going to do that again.
1,000 points now for Anderson after that last made free throw. Whistle, and this one's going back the other way.
They're going to push off here on Andrew Gordon. Good call. Bassey's going to go to the free throw line. But I think John was on to something, and I think that's what Eric Conkle is trying to do. Get Bassey out on the perimeter. Get him in a pick-and-roll situation. And he's done a really nice job communicating. His guards have fought over screens. He has not been often caught out in no man's land, which so many big guys tend to do.
Bassey connects on the front end. .22 points tonight for Bassey, make it 23 to match his jersey number. Hilltoppers back up by 3. We approach the 4-minute mark.
Yeah, I think Ledoux's got to be your guy here. 5 in blue.
Ledoux launches long range, no. Anderson just crossed that 1,000-point plateau, comes up with a rebound there for Western Kentucky.
Now you got a chance to extend this to a 2-possession game. You got to get the ball to 23 if you're Western Kentucky.
Lofton and him battling in the post there. Sets the screen. Spin by McKnight, lost the handle. Good feed underneath, but can finish. Anderson gets his own rebound. The putback, no, but more free throws coming up for the Hilltoppers.
Rick Stansbury's got us saying, oh, those rims here, just doesn't get the bounces. This will be the easiest bucket Josh Anderson might have had over the course of those 1,000 points he has scored. He misses it. Fortunate to get the offensive board, get to the free throw line. This game has not been pretty. This play may be indicative of the game. Every bucket has been a struggle.
So we're in a timeout. Western Kentucky will have free throws. We've got college basketball insider John Rothstein joining me and Tim Doyle tonight. And John, it's such a unique year here in college basketball. Condensed schedule, less games that we're used to seeing. Why do these regular season games, and why are they going to mean more once we get to Selection Sunday?
Well, guys, I think a big thing we need to keep in mind is that if the goal is to get to the NCAA tournament, and that's obviously what everybody is working towards, you know the NCAA is working towards that as well, you have to ask yourself if it makes sense from a safety perspective to go through with every conference tournament. Well, and if we're not going to go through with every conference tournament until we're on the other side of this pandemic, you have to keep in mind that there's a chance that some of these conference tournaments may be canceled. If that happens, the conferences have the right to send the regular season champion to the NCAA tournament, much like the Ivy League did before, obviously, there was an Ivy League tournament. So I think you have to keep that in the back of your head, especially when you're thinking about some of these mid-major leagues.
And Alex, I'm totally okay with that. To me, winning over the course of 8 weeks is more important, more valuable in my eyes than winning a conference tournament. Now, conference tournaments are really important for players. It's a great experience. You go play at a centrally location, all your fans are able to come out. But to me, the true champion of a league is someone who goes out there and wins the regular season. So I'm totally okay if they send regular season champs to the tournament. I just want to see this tournament get off the ground, because what's going to happen is there's going to be Selection Sunday, and then there's going to be testing protocols for every player, every team, and then they try to get all those games in by a certain date. I don't know why they're setting the date so hardcore. This is going to be the date, but I'm okay with them just playing the tournament and kind of letting it breathe a little bit, because there's going to be a lot of challenges keeping everybody healthy and safe.
And John, as you mentioned, just because we have a date for Selection Sunday doesn't necessarily mean we have a date for the inner part of the tournament. There's no first four set date yet, no set date for the first round or any of that just yet.
Right, that's right, Alex. We know the tournament's going to be announced in terms of the bracket on March 14th. We know it's going to end on April 5th. In between that, we're not sure.
Ledoux with a bucket. Hoop in the harm for him. And La Tech back within 3.
This is really good execution, and you see the skill set of Kenneth Lofton. He's 6'7", he's 275, he's a freshman, and Eric Conkle trusts him enough to run their offense through him. Excellent pass. And Ledoux, the McNeese State transfer, not able to convert the three-point play. Still one possession game.
Anderson with the rebound. Anderson picks up rebound number 7 right there.
And Alex, to add to what I was talking about the tournament, Dan Gavitt also told me that no games in the tournament will be played on back-to-back days.
This is Anderson, drives to the rim, and he gets fouled. More free throws for Western Kentucky. They've already taken 23 of them tonight, made 21. La Tech has only attempted 14 in the game.
Josh Anderson was a top 75 recruit out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and he has really improved at the stripe. Shot 59% at the free throw line as a freshman, and now, well, 87%. And you knew, John, when I started talking about it, he obviously was going to spin one out.
Yeah, you definitely had all the impact there, Tim. No question. You had what was the guy in the Bronx Tale? Mush. You mushed him.
I've been known to do that, though. I've been known to do that, Alex. Mush a few things.
But you've never been to a racetrack, so it's all good.
Wise man once said, if anything I say from here has anything to do with what goes on over there, I'm not getting paid enough. 62-58 our score. La Tech, they're trying to get back to the free throw line, and they do here. Again, only 14 attempts in the game so far, but they are 6 of 9 here in the second half. Make good on the front end of the 1-and-1. Isaiah Crawford, who's had himself a pretty nice game, 11 points here for Louisiana Tech. Friendly rims on this side of the floor for La Tech. Back to a 2-point game with less than 3 minutes to play. Western Kentucky has not scored from the field in the last 5.5 minutes. They still got the lead because they've been going to the line, John.
Well, definitely, and now the question is, how long are they going to wait until 23 gets a touch? That's a bad possession right there if you're Rick Stansbury. And you can see the frustration. Hands overhead. He can't believe it. There's one focal point every single time, 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. Charles Bassey.
Lofton, a freshman, setting the screen here for Archibald. Drive, stops, fall away. No. And we get a loose ball foul. It's going to be against Lofton. It goes back to Western Kentucky.
Yeah, there was a lot of standing around there for Louisiana Tech on offense. And, you know, I get it. Amari Archibald's made a lot of tough shots. He made a key jumper in that first half that propelled 7 straight made field goals for Eric Conkle's crowd. But he's got to start looking at that playbook a little bit more and getting more efficient on the offensive end, running better stuff, because every possession right now, ultra important.
Lofton picking up his 4th personal foul. Bassey misses from the stripe here. And now Gordon will check in. Lofton struggling tonight, has only attempted 2 shots, 1 rebound, has a couple of nice assists in the game, but really a non-factor offensively. He came in averaging 10.5.
Big shot right there. He's now at 24 and 17. Video game-like numbers for the All-American. Alex, Tim, we got a 3-point game on a Friday night. And remember, this is only January.
Bulldogs down 3. This is Williams to the rim. Nice shot. 1-point game. La Tech without a field goal the last 6.5 minutes. But hanging on by a thread. Bad pass trying to get it to Bassey into the backcourt. He just lets it roll out of bounds. And it'll go back to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I thought Jakobi Williams could have shot this 3. Instead, head fakes, gets into the lane. He wears 24 for his favorite player ever, Kobe Bryant, and that was a smooth drive.
The sophomore from Dallas, Texas.
5'11" sophomore.
Starting every game for La Tech this year. La Tech looking to reclaim the lead. Kick out. The corner, Crawford, couple dribbles in, pulls up, bounces around and drops in. La Tech back on top, 1:05 to play. And Coach Stansbury wants a timeout. One-point lead for Louisiana Tech. Let's take a look back at Bassey's performance tonight. Phenomenal effort, 24 points and 17 boards.
Well, he
Tim,
certainly,
what's worked for him?
Yeah, he's lived up to the hype, and this has been really a highlight reel package for him, whether it's stepping out on the perimeter, dunking the basketball with great authority, and then 3 straight possessions in the second half. Bassey had block shots. John, I love his timing, and you talked about his conditioning. That's been key for him. When I look at Conference USA Player of the Years, he's got to top your chart.
No,
right?
it's far and away the best player in Conference USA, and I don't even think it's close. There are other good players, obviously, in this league, but nobody holds a candle to Charles Bassey.
Well, if you're Rick Stansbury, Alex, you got to be drawing up a play where 23 is have a touch. Tavion Hollingsworth, I had him in conversation for Conference USA Player of the Year. He has struggled in this game, only 3 of 13. Obviously, he can go out there and make a shot as well. I would put those 2 guys in some sort of 2-man game. Be interested to see if Frampton's on the floor just as far as spacing the court. Western Kentucky, they're going to struggle all year shooting the 3. They've done in this game only 2 of 17 from 3-point range for Western Kentucky. And if you're Eric Conkle, you're thinking, man, we were in the spot last year. Tavion Hollingsworth makes a 3, down 3, sends the game to overtime. Western Kentucky wins the game 95-91. But this speaks to the depth of Conference USA. You got the top-rated team at home going against a middle-of-the-pack team. Edge right now, La Tech, middle-of-the-pack team, Alex.
And Alex and Tim, you know, one thing you got to think of, we've been talking about it all night. If you're Western Kentucky, you're not just playing for the win. You're playing for the opportunity to protect yourself if you don't win Conference USA and need to get in that large berth to the NCAA tournament, as we see Bassey's line right there. You know, if Western Kentucky takes another loss this early, you know, it's going to make it harder and harder for this team to get into a situation where they can be an at-large candidate for the NCAA tournament.
So just over a minute to play here. Western Kentucky with possession down by 1. They have not made a field goal in the last 7.5 minutes. Here's a drive to the rim, and that ends that drought. As Hollingsworth, you mentioned, Tim, that he needed to get going. That's a big bucket for him there.
Yeah, I was just kind of zeroed in on him, and it was like he was watching the whole play develop, and he knew when he got the ball at the top of the key that this was going to be an opportunity to get to his strong hand. If you're guarding Tavion Hollingsworth, what makes him so difficult is he does a great job at getting to the free throw line. The guy shoots more free throws than anybody else in Conference USA, and he just got a little bit of an edge. The dude's got to do a better job of forcing him to go to his offhand, or at least cutting him off, having him spin. Maybe you get some help. Straight line drive, even though Hollingsworth has struggled, that's what you expect your senior out of Lexington to do, and Alex, he stepped up in a big way.
Great call there by Rick Stansberry. He knew what he wanted to do. He wanted Hollingsworth to get the ball going downhill. Great execution by Western Kentucky. This is a team that has been in big games. Remember, Hollingsworth, a part of that team a couple of years ago that went to the Final Four of the postseason NIT, won a lot of games against power conference teams, guys.
Yeah, and here's a chance, Alex. Quickly, I'll get this point in. You can get 2 for 1. You know, we talked about this at halftime, but here's an opportunity to get 2 possessions. College teams don't think like that, and I think they dropped the ball.
Here's Williams. Bulldogs down 1. Handoff here. They'll dump it into Crawford. To the rim, and that's rejected by Bassey. And a foul called from behind. It's going to be on Crawford with 21 6/10 seconds to go.
Yeah, and the one guy you don't want to see at the rim is this guy, because he has been dominant in that fashion. Perfect timing. Almost baited the defense in. Massive block. And I thought Louisiana Tech, now, once you miss, now you've got a foul. If you do a quick hitter there, you take a shot, you miss. Now you can play good defense, get the ball back. No college coaches do that. You know why, John? Because they lose power.
Yep.
I got a problem with that.
And that's the way you block a shot, too, guys. You see, it was all wrist action there from Bassey. He didn't spike it down. Didn't try to flail his arms either. You avoid getting a foul call that maybe wasn't actually there. Miss on the free throws. It's a 2-point game. This is Williams. Tries to get rid of it in the corner. 3-point attempt is short. Rebound controlled by Rawls. He still has it on a foul called against Williams. Rawls is going to the line to try to make this a 2-possession game.
I was surprised no timeout there, John.
Sometimes, Tim, you know, coaches want to obviously let things flow a little bit. They don't want to control things. We've seen, obviously, different coaches have different methods on that, but you know, I don't think, you know, Bill Carmody was obviously going to, you know, go to his, obviously, timeouts when he knew you were kind of like being the person who was the pioneer at the point forward position. So, to each their own.
That's the 5th foul on Williams. He's out for the game.
He was not in great shape when I was their best player there. And now, Western Kentucky, they go out there and make 2 free throws. They could end up sealing this game. I don't know. I think that's an opportunity that I want a guy like Archibald or Ledoux with the ball. You got a pretty good look. Just not able to convert, but Western Kentucky, Alex, going to leave this door open.
They'd been almost automatic from the free throw line for a good 3/4 of this game, but they've struggled here in the late stages of the second half here. 24 for 30, still 80%. 7.2 to play. And once again, we'll be back with more Conference USA action here on Facebook Watch tomorrow with a rematch of this matchup at Louisiana Tech, as Louisiana Tech and Western Kentucky do battle again. That's tomorrow at 7 p.m. right here on Facebook Watch.
Well, I think it's interesting if you're Eric Conkle drawing up a play, because a missed free throw you don't need to win, but you know, a three will win it. You know, traditionally, especially at the highest level, they'll go for the win on the road. Be interested to see what he drew up there, because depending on if this free throw goes down, what they would need 2 versus 3, or if he decides at this point he's going to want to take a timeout. He might say made free throw, timeout, missed free throw, where to go attack.
Miss on the free throw. 2-point game, 5 seconds. Ledoux outside. Archibald for 3 at the horn. No! And Western Kentucky survives with a 2-point win. La Tech gave themselves a chance. And despite Western Kentucky shooting a season-low 35.7% from the field, they end up sneaking out of their home building with a 2-point win.
Look at this execution. I mean, I love it. You actually got some sort of offense going. You got arguably your best player with an open look. If you're Eric Conkle, you go in the locker room, you say, guys, we executed down the stretch. We obviously had our chances to win this game on the road, but this is an outstanding look down 2, just not able to convert.
Special situations. Louisiana Tech did everything except make the shot, and what a performance by Eric Conkle tonight as a coach. Very impressed.
All right, we're going to go down to courtside. We've got Charles Bassey joining us here. Charles, I don't know if you can hear us just yet.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Charles, you're on with Alex Obarrio, Tim Doyle, John Rothstein. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
And it got scrappy there at the end. You guys struggled to put the ball in the basket, but you guys got to the free throw line, and that was what got you this win.
Yeah, like Coach said, man, they had a double bonus. They've been fouling us the whole game, so we just got to make the free throws to just finish the game, but we missed some free throws, so we're just gonna go back and just make sure we make our free throws next game.
How would you describe 3 straight possessions, 3 straight blocks? Did you sort of catch on fire blocking shots there?
I mean, no, because after halftime, when I go back in the locker room, my weight trainer was like, man, you've not blocked anyone first time. And I'm like, man, I got you when I'm coming back in here, and I had like 3 straight blocks. So, yeah.
Charles, you know, we were talking during the game about your game, and we were thinking about other players that you resembled. If you had to compare yourself to one basketball player, past or present, who would it be?
Man, I'll say, you know, people have been saying I play like Len Bias on my body and everything. I just play like him. So, you know, I'll probably say I play like him because I watch his film. So, I mean, I'll say, yeah, we have the same game.
Charles, one last thing. You guys had that split last weekend. You go into home, and you guys are struggling from the field. How important was it to get the front end of this thing, knowing you got to play this exact same team again tomorrow?
You know, that's the toughness. It's all mental. You know, we're gonna go back, watch film, and see what we did wrong. Many fouls, many driving lines. They drove the ball in too much this game. So we're just gonna go back, watch film as a team, and just come back and see what we could do better tomorrow.
All right, Charles, thanks for the time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
That's Charles Bassey, picks up the victory, 24 points, 17 rebounds tonight as Western Kentucky wins the front end of this back-to-back 66-64. Alex Obarrio alongside Tim Doyle, college basketball insider for CBS, John Rothstein. And fellas, it was just an ugly game in the early parts of it. Then Louisiana Tech goes on the run, stays in it. And Tim, one of the things that kept Western Kentucky in front in this one was their defense in certain moments in that second half.
Well, they were such an amazing anchor. We talked to Charles Bassey there. He was a difference maker in the first half, and he was a difference maker throughout the game on both ends of the floor. I think both coaches, John, can go back to the drawing table and go, man, there is so much more we could do at a higher level, and we're going to be able to run this all back tomorrow. This is going to be college basketball this year. So many challenges, and like Charles Bassey said, It's all going to be up here. It's all going to be mental. We saw a plethora of splits in opening weekend of Conference USA play, and John, we get to do it all again tomorrow night.
Well, and that's exciting, and something that's not going to be exciting is if this Western Kentucky team gets into the NCAA tournament, the last thing an opposing coach is going to want to see on Selection Sunday is Charles Bassey as a double-digit seed and the starting five-man. Keep that in mind when you follow Western Kentucky this year.
John, it was great to have you on board. Tim, as always, it was always a fun time. Congratulations to Western Kentucky. Get the win. They get to do it again tomorrow as they take on Louisiana Tech. Big win in Bowling Green tonight at home for Western Kentucky, winning the front end of this one. Once again, our final score, 66-64 for Tim Doyle, John Rothstein, and our entire crew. I'm Alex Sabario. Check out our next CUSA game tomorrow. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network on Facebook Watch. So long from Bowling Green.